It's how do I articulate? Like
Great
it's
question.
been better, as in like it like has gotten better. I mean,
Oh, good, 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 good. All right, well, good. Glad to hear that's going well. Um, what are we looking at today?
just Tracer again, bro. Like, I feel like my uptime is terrible
Sure,
on Tracer. Like even for Tracer players, I feel like I have very low damage.
sure. Why do you think that is?
I'm scared. I get
Hmm.
nervous. I
Sure.
feel like I just get one shot, so I just like play scared.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I
Um.
also,
Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No. 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 Please.
Um, I feel like I'm very like more than the average player, like extremely inconsistent.
Okay.
Where like, dude, I dropped from GM3 to M4 in the span of like a week. It's just, and that happens like every few months where I just lose an absurd amount of SR. And it's not like a mental thing. I think it's just more a confidence thing than anything.
Okay. I mean, that is a mental thing, right? But as in tilt, right? I assume
Yeah,
is what it's not is. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So talk. So that happened recently, yeah.
yeah, that
So
happened like
talk
two
me.
weeks ago.
Okay, so what happened? Like, give me the lead up to it. What rank you hit? When did you start to drop? How far did you start to drop? Like, give me the full 9 yards.
So I was GM3. This is probably more than 2 weeks ago. I was GM3 like at the start of the season, and I didn't play on my main for like the first like probably week, and I was playing in like I don't know. I wasn't really playing much at all. I
So
was
can, can
just
I can I can I go back even further? On you,
yeah.
how did you? What was that lead up to getting to GM3?
I was like hard stuck like GM5 the entire season. Well, I guess I didn't even really play on my main that much. I was just playing on like different accounts. Like I
Okay.
got a Reaper one trick account to GM2. Um but I just wasn't playing on my main that much. So the account was like stuck in GM5, and then like the past or like the last like week of the season, I just like went on like a 15 win streak or like whatever, like a 10 or whatever win streak to GM3.
Okay. Did
And
you? How
then
did you play during those games?
I like I don't know. I feel like I play very instinctually. That was something else I was gonna bring up, is that I feel like because I play so instinctually, when I try to learn things, I spend a long time learning them, and then when I try to learn something else, I just forget,
Yeah.
and like it doesn't
Fair enough.
stick.
Fair enough. I mean, instinctual players is where we all want to be, but we just don't want to be instinctual learners, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
but continue. So instinctual, don't really know exactly what happened. You just zoomed all the way up to GM3 over like 15
Yeah.
games. End of season, yeah?
So, yeah, like the last week. So it wasn't like terrible, like last 48-hour queues. But some days, like some days I wake up and like I can feel just better. Like I can feel where the value would be, where like the danger areas would be, like just where I need to be and where I
Mm-hmm.
cannot be. And like some days I can just feel it worse, and sometimes I can feel it better.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
I have control over that.
Have you ever been proven wrong in that? Have you ever had good days when you didn't think it'd be good or bad days when you thought it would be good?
Um, I mean, sometimes it like takes me a long time to like get warmed up, but usually I can feel if I'm gonna like it's just like I just call it like a brain day where like my brain is like actually churning and functioning.
Okay. Okay.
But
And it
yeah, it's
showcases in your
happened where
gameplay.
like sorry?
And it showcases in your gameplay then.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Um I'm sure it has happened where like I assume it's gonna be a bad brain day. Well, I don't know. I think when that like happens where I think it's gonna be a bad day and then it's not is just when I like take a break and like go for a walk or something. It's usually a better brain day if I go for a walk, which I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So talk to me the story. So you went on a streak to GM3 end of season. Then what happened?
Um, so then I kind of just camped GM3 on my main, and I would just play on a different account.
What was that
Um,
different account at?
like I think it was like low GM at the time, like high
Yeah.
masters.
Yeah.
Um, but mainly I would be playing in like Tanuki scrims where like
Uh-huh.
or like I'd mainly be spectating because I'm like a or I was a sub player. I actually um I just quit essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I like kind of retired because
Mm-hmm.
the Master Division like season ended or Master Division Face It season ended and I didn't like get a chance to play at all and I felt like I'd been plateaued for a long time. So I just it was frustrating where I like just didn't feel like I was improving.
Well, sitting and spectating
Um
scrims isn't going to change that, right? Yeah.
yeah.
That's yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
And like I messaged you about the, like a rocket thing where
Yep.
like they were gonna play against them and I asked like the coach to play let me play against them and it wasn't an option.
Yep.
So
Makes
I
sense.
just feel like if I was better, if I like seized the opportunity better, I could have played against people that I really respect and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I don't know.
So
So I
back to
just like
GM3.
yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's an
Um
important tangent, but keep going.
so I was mainly just spectating and like sometimes playing and then they were gonna have me play in like a match, not like one of the Master Division matches, but like a different tournament. So I was just warming up on my main like the next season because I like just camped GM3 until the end of the season. So the next season I like was just gonna warm up on my main. I wanted to warm up in like not Pistol. Like the day before, I mean, I was just like playing on my main so I could get used to like higher ranked like gameplay again and not like high masters, low GM, like
Mm-hmm.
me playing. So I would just like I had a good mindset where I was just like, okay, I'm gonna like actively think and like try to play well. And I just kept losing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it wasn't like I was tilting or anything. I was still like just trying to think and like trying to remember how to play. I didn't even feel like I was playing poorly. I felt like I was like doing well, but I just kept losing. And then that brought me down to like M2, I think. And then the last two were like a few days later, which I think was just like the loss of confidence thing, where
Mm-hmm.
I just forgot how to get value.
Okay. So let me see if I get this straight. Now I'm going to be repeating this in a very storyline fashion, and I think you're going to get the vibe of what I'm trying to communicate, but I want you to pay attention, okay? So
Mhm.
you queue end of season ranked for 15 games in a row and get a really nice streak, putting you in GM3. Okay?
Mhm.
Then you avoid queuing GM3 for how long? Weeks?
Probably go like 2 weeks, maybe
2
3.
weeks. You don't queue in GM3, you're playing in Masters 1 GM5 lobbies. Then leading up into an important match, you queue on GM3 main, don't perform the way that you'd like to, so lose and then lose confidence because of how much you lost. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So you got lucky end of season and got a high GM3. I'm going to bet a lot of money that you are not a GM3 player and you were not a GM3 player at the end of season. End of season games are always more inconsistent, which means that you can get bad runs or good runs depending on the end of season. And also, everybody gets lucky once. So you might have even been playing well, but you don't consistently perform at a GM3 level, even if you are playing well.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Well,
Okay,
no, I
so let's
do. Like,
so
sorry, real
no no
quick.
no finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Um, I have finished GM3 like not season 9, I didn't really play season 9, but season 10, season 11, season 12. I could consistently maintain season like every season from season 10 until now. I could
So
maintain GM3
so then why are you hitting GM3 end of season and then playing in Masters 1 and GM5 for the rest of the season?
because I didn't want to like go on a losing streak and then lose my SR.
But this doesn't sound like it's the first time for you. You're always talking about I can end GM3, but then you don't train GM3 the rest of the season. Why?
It's just like I like 9 out of 10 days are no brain days where it just my brain isn't turning and I play poorly and I feel like I lose a lot of SR those days.
So how
And
can you
like
consistently hit a brain day on end of season? How is that possible? Do you just wake up and go, "Oh, this is a brain day, so this is gonna be the day that I camp GM3"?
I mean, I just do a lot better under pressure. I think I just like get lazy and complacent when I don't have pressure.
Okay, okay. So you see what we're aiming for here, though, right? Like what you just said right there is the reason for your inconsistency. And the funny thing is that you put a lot of emphasis in because you haven't trained for a long time at the GM3 level. And then when you try to pick up the weights that you haven't touched in 2 weeks, yeah, it's heavy. And that's not even factoring in the fact that you might have had a little bit of bad matchmaking. Like you might have, the matchmaker will be like, the matchmaker doesn't account for people having a bad day, right? So like, let's say you got matched with somebody having a bad day. You could have just gotten a little bit unlucky and then that destroys confidence and that snowballs you the opposite direction. You're creating your own volatility. You're creating your own volatility. You're making your training environment Now, I want you to replace what we're doing here with anything other than Overwatch, okay? You lift a lot of weights. You get to a really heavy weight. Say GM3 is 200 pounds. Indiscriminate lift, just 200 pounds, right? Then you're like, oh, well, I don't want to lift 200 pounds again because I might fail. So then you spend the next 2 weeks training with 160 pounds. What the frick are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you're going to be able to pick up 200 pounds after you haven't touched it in 2 weeks? Does it make any sense to avoid 200 pounds because you're scared that you won't be able to lift it? I mean, you're definitely not going to be able to lift it if you don't touch it again, right? And then you go, well, I don't do as well when there's not stakes. Well, mate, GM3 is not going to be consistently your problem. So you've diagnosed your own issue here. The question is just what are you going to do about it? If you want to play at a GM3 level consistently, you need to train until the GM3 level consistently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the question is what can you do about it? So you said I perform better under stakes. Okay. So end of season stakes is kind of like what's good for you. It's like finishing the rank at the end of season is kind of like what gives you that dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what else motivates you?
Like streamer lobbies where like I know there's gonna be people judging my gameplay and like watching.
Mm-hmm.
Like tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Or like just being spectated at all. Like I was playing better today, just like trying to get a VOD because I knew I'd have to get a VOD.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to be like, I'm gonna be watched, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I played better. This is not one of those games. This is one of the games I couldn't find any like value really. That's why I chose it. But like other than that, I was playing like really well today.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. So my question then is, are you consistently getting streamer games in Master 1?
I missed the end of the sentence.
Are you consistently getting streamer games in Masters 1? Sorry.
Like Beaver and like I got a bunch of like Beaver and like Emong off rolling today.
Okay. Who do you want to be in? What kind of player?
What do you mean?
What kind of streamer games do you want to be in? Who would you kill to be consistently in their games? Besides Rocket.
Well, I wanna like Rocket. Like I wanna play against people that I really respect.
Mm-hmm. So how are you gonna get there?
Not playing an M1.
Right. You got it. You're struggling with delayed reinforcement. Because you're going to have to grind in M1 and GM5 and GM4 and GM3, and you have to do so for a while before you get those games, right? Yeah. But you got to have the end goal in sight, right? You got to be thankful for what... And also, you got to find some sort of enjoyment about getting to that point, right? Because let's be honest, you're not going to snap your fingers and hit GM1. It's not going to happen, right? So you're going to have to put some hours in. You're going to have to put some focused effort hours in. And the stakes are, do you want to play with Rocket or not? Do you want to find a team that competes at a high level? Do you want to start for, what was it called? Was it, what was the team name? Tanuki? Tanuki, yeah, you know? Or the equivalent of Tanuki, right? So for you is you got to find out, like, in situations where that's my goal, is that really what I want to do? Am I willing to put that time in? Because if the answer is no, then you're not going to get there. It's as simple as. So, what do you think? Is it as simple as that? Hey, I got to be better. Grit your teeth and go? Usually isn't, right? Because if so, you probably would have already done so. So what's holding you back? Where do you lose motivation?
Well, like, what made me lose motivation recently? Well, I've been like I'm watching, you know, OBS Sojourn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching like a lot of those VODs, and I've been taking like handwritten notes, and like I'm like really trying to like apply concepts and like learn. And just don't feel like I've improved. And like what boomed me recently that I thought about is my peak in Overwatch 1, and like kind of where I like stuck at the entire time was 4200.
Yep.
And then now Overwatch 2, I'm just hard stuck GM3.
Yep.
So it's like the equivalent, you know? I don't know if I've improved at all. Like
Yep.
maybe I've plateaued forever.
It's funny because like we always are so fast to blame like there's something wrong with your brain. I was working actually with a buddy of mine who's like hard stuck diamond at Wrecking Ball, and very upset at himself. Feels like he can't improve, can't make any progress or whatever. There's something wrong with him. I can't learn. I can't focus. He's like, my favorite part is he actually had a sentence about like how it's impossible for him to set any small goals. He's like, I can't set any small goals. I can't, like, he's like, I know that I shouldn't be going in without shields, or I should be analyzing the composition, or I should be thinking about my mines. And I'm like, stop! You literally just set small goals right there. What the frick are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with you. His problem is his relationship, his mentality when it comes to practice, right? In terms of like actually applying himself to what he's doing. And the problem is that's always the most important thing. But it becomes harder the higher up in rank you become, because the resistance just becomes stronger and stronger. Like, you're like, oh, I'm hard stuck 4.2. Like, yeah, because that's probably like the most amount of effort that you've consistently put in over a long period of time. It's good enough to reach 4.2. But to reach 4.3 or 4.4, you're going to have to put in effort that you just haven't done before. So for you, it's just like there's nothing wrong with you. You're not that inconsistent. When you said, oh, I struggle with consistency, and then you told me the story, I'm like, frankly, trying not to like go, oh my gosh, I almost interrupted you. Because I was like, do you not see what you're saying, right? You're creating your own problems here. You're sabotaging yourself. And then even worse is then instead of looking at the situation and be like, yeah, the way I practice this just doesn't make any sense, you're going, oh, there must be something wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. You're smart. You're intelligent. It's not your instinct. It's not what you don't understand. There's nothing wrong with you. In addition to that, when you put in more work, like let's say you're studying OBS Sojourn, you're taking notes, you're trying to apply those things. Again, delayed reinforcement. Nobody has a coaching session with anybody worth their salt and walks away saying, oh, I'm going to hit Grandmaster tomorrow, right? I'm going to make immediate improvements tomorrow. Stuff is slow. Thinking in patterns takes time, because you know what? Learning something and then turning it into an instinct are two different things. You could walk away from a session with me or from any other good coach and immediately feel like you have a better grasp of what you need to do, but then fail to apply it because you just have to do it 1,000 times, right? Same thing goes with OBS Sojourn VODs, right? So if that's you and you go, there's something wrong with me. No, you just need to get under the 200-pound weight and do it again 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 and do it again. Try new things and then do it again and try new things and then do it again. That's all there is to it. And what you've reached is you've reached your hard or soft cap because you're unwilling to apply yourself or adjust or adapt or learn new things beyond GM3 or 4.2K. And or you self-sabotage yourself because when things get really difficult, you second-guess yourself and go, there must be something wrong with me, when there's nothing wrong with you. It just is hard. It's just hard. Think about what you're saying. Think about the type of games that you want to get into. Rocket. Rocket's been playing the game for 4+ hours a day for 4+ years. Right? Can you compete with that? Have you been doing that consistently? 5 hours, 2 scrim blocks a day, basically 2 tricking heroes for 4 or 5 years?
Definitely not 2 tricking heroes, and not consistently, no.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, you're like, well, at times I have, yeah, but you haven't done it consistently. You haven't done it consistently. And I guarantee you, Rocket probably didn't second guess himself as much as you do. Now, maybe at the higher level, eventually everybody second guesses themselves, but Rocket's built different, right? So if you want to talk about talent isn't your capability to click heads. Talent is your capability to just play the game and not care, or just want to improve and not really, and just be totally unstoppable in that regard. And if you want to be that type of person, that's what it's going to demand from you. That's why not everyone can hit Grandmaster, because not everybody enjoys the game enough to do that, right? So there's nothing wrong with you. That's my encouragement to you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing, your inconsistency in some magical potion that you have to solve. You just need to shut up and play at GM3 lobbies. Stop avoiding your main like it's something special. We're not here to game the system. There's a reason like people like Yazan don't play pro. They can game the system for top play results, but just play the game. It ain't that deep. Just play the game. You have to have a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a different mindset. We're not here to game the system and to, gimmick this and avoid my main and camp. I mean, imagine if Rocket was talking about camping GM3. I got to play. Are you kidding me? Rocket could sneeze his way into GM1. If that's the type of player you want to be, then that's the type of player you want to be. You can't worry about GM3. Who gives a rip?
Yeah.
And then what happens is you'll hit GM2. Who cares? Still not there. GM1, still not there. Keep going. Right? You got to be willing to lose. You got to be willing to take one on the chin and drop all the way to GM5 or GM4, or Masters 2. That's normal. That happens. Who cares? Behave like the player that you want to be. Act like, what would Rocket do in this situation? Rocket would just take a walk and then requeue. All right? So if you want to be Rocket, that's what you got to do. Rocket would take notes in OBS Sojourn, right? And then Rocket would practice and not just be like, all right, well, it needs to immediately work, right? Just keep going. So if you want to be the better player, you need to act like the better player. Don't try to, what you're doing is you're doing the equivalent of like, you're photoshopping your pictures to make yourself look bigger. Mm-hmm. Make your muscles look bigger. That's what you're doing. Oh, I hit GM3 on a lucky or unlucky streak, whatever. Maybe I just played well. But I don't want to touch it because I know it's not real. You got to be honest with yourself. You want to be a GM3 player, you got to be a GM3 player. You got to lift the weight. And hitting Masters 2 doesn't change anything. Like if you drop all the way to Masters 2, it doesn't matter. You want to be Rocket, you got to win Master 2 games. Win Master 2 games. So sorry to dogpile you, but you got to beat yourself at this. You have to beat yourself at this. It's nonsense. You're better than that. And you got to believe that, all right?
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right.
Okay. So, in terms of how you train and how consistently you're training, when you are motivated and playing well, maybe into season, right? What does that usually look like?
Well, what do you mean?
So, when you go on your win streak, all right? So you're playing, you got a brain day, or maybe even just like the end of season. What does practice look like for you? How much do you play? How often do you play? Do you take breaks? Give me all the juice.
On a brain day, like, usually I just boot up and play, and then play for like, not like absurdly long. I would just play until like I win streak to the rank that I want,
Right.
The first 2 games are usually rough. I like usually end up losing the first 2 games just because like I take a while to like remember how to aim. But once I like get comfortable, I feel like I just like think about winning more than like, I don't know. Like I just think like most days my brain feels really foggy, but then when there's stakes I can like get clear-headed.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, it makes sense, like, intuitively, but even, like, acknowledging that, like, just when I'm playing, like, oh, I'm not playing how I would play in a tournament right now. I still can't play how I would play in a tournament, like, even trying to, like, remember that. I just can't force it.
You can't motivate yourself because you know it. You can't lie to yourself and say that it's that high stakes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what you are? You're the guy getting in the high school gym, like the freshman, that refuses to like warm up and just wants to bench press 300 pounds ice cold and like breaks their neck on the bar. Like that's who you are. But you got to be better than that, right? You got to eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
So the question is how are we going to do that? I'm going to be real with you. I have no freaking idea. I have no idea.
Well,
I have no idea. You tell me.
like real quick, like I was just gonna add something to that about like the eat the vegetables thing, because I like that kind of resonated with me because like I like when I'm playing, I sometimes I would just like not eat for a while, or like I would just be sleep deprived, and like obviously my body is not functioning as well as it could be if I was well rested and if I was
Yeah.
eating properly and like had eaten in the last like 24 hours or whatever. Um, However, there's just the correct buttons that I gotta press at the correct time, you know? Like it's not like it's not possible. I just gotta
Of
press the
course.
correct thing at the correct time.
Of course. The question
Uh,
is how efficiently is your body able to do that? How quickly? How emotionally stable are you at that moment? Right?
yeah.
I think eating well is probably pretty smart, but like I think like brain stuff in general, unless there's like your blood sugars crashed, is like you can survive with that. But sleep for 100%. Like sleep, you'll move slower. You'll be more emotional. You'll internalize fewer lessons learned from the previous day, right?
Mhm.
And that's scientifically proven. So, but also at the same time, I've seen some sleep deprived people that because they go in with zero expectations and they're just determination. Like, let's not lie, that determination and skill are the most important factors, right? Not how much sleep you got the night before. So we got to find out. You're not motivated to take what you think that you want to do. So the really easy way to saying things is saying that like, well, you're just not built different. You're going to be doomed for failure. Get screwed, kid. But that's obviously not good. So what I would do is I would reflect any time where eating the vegetables feels tolerable. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. What about today, even though I was on my Masters 2 account playing versus a Torbo TP East Coast Special, what made practice feel like productive? Not that I was having a brain day, but it just felt like it was productive. Felt like I didn't hate myself. Felt like I was motivated to at least apply myself. All right.
Mhm.
And then also on days when you don't feel like applying yourself, I'm going to be honest with you, you need to do it. And the way to do that is in the same way when somebody comes up to me and I ask if they warm up and they say no, I ask them why. About half the time, the reason why they don't warm up is when they warmed up in the past, they were warming up with Kovacs and Vaxta and Deathmatch for like 40 minutes. And so the idea of having to bite off that much vegetable is awful to them. So on days when you're like, I just don't feel motivated to play in this account, to apply myself as much, it might be that your expectations of what that looks like is too high. When in reality, as stupid as it may sound, if you could force yourself to give yourself full effort for 2 games on days where you don't feel like it, that's good enough. That's better probably than what you're doing right now. Just 2 games. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So instead of trying to hype yourself up and watch YouTube motivational videos, just be like, well, I just only have to try hard for 2 games. That's it. That's it. 2 games. And then if you just want to screw around after that, okay, whatever. But we have to train your willpower on days that you're not going to. You have to be, like, that's part of maturity is just delayed reinforcement. Kids are terrible with it. You have to force kids to do things that they don't want to do because they're too stupid to understand the long-term results. But you got to be better than that. And I know it's just Overwatch, but this is probably a skill that you need to develop. How do I apply myself when I don't see immediate results? Well, that's life. That's exactly what life does. And you're going to miss out on a lot of great things if you're only short-sighted with this kind of stuff. So start small. Start slow. And on days when you actually feel motivated, even if the practice is lame, try to point out why. Try to notice things about that training. What about that training? Was it the sleep the night before? Was it the walks? Was it the goals I had? Or was it just, I don't even know. It just felt better. I don't know. But you got to be, if you are dedicated to reaching the Rocket Games, you have to put this level of amount of effort into things, not just in playing the game mindlessly, but in self-awareness. You have to check yourself. I got hard stuck so many times on my climb from bronze to, coincidentally, 4.2. And every single time there was usually like some soul searching moment where I sit there with my notebook, my notes, and be like, what is wrong? Like, why am I not applying myself? Like, what has happened here? And usually the solution is pretty simple, but I had to think my way around the problem. I couldn't just queue up around the problem. And that's the problem. You cannot queue up around this problem. You have to think it through. You got me?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well,
what's your plan? Go ahead.
like my thought, like it's kind of related where I feel like it's hard to like get coaching sessions because I feel like anything like that you point out, like like in gameplay. Like this is productive, I think, like this conversation, but like in gameplay, I feel like anything that you could point out, I could have like figured out individually.
Well, that's just it, right? That's just it. Like that at a certain point, coaching becomes not repetitive, but I do not do repeat sessions. I do not like doing repeat sessions for that exact reason. Because there's only so much learning, you know? And even more so, there's only so much learning that you can actually apply. The difference is your capability to apply that information and drill those skills. And if you can't, there's nothing I can do for you. In fact, the most hard-stuck players are sometimes the most intelligent because they've failed to apply any of the information that they hold. And so more information is worse for them. It just pollutes their brain. When I was coaching in Overwatch League, I would do one-on-ones generally about once every 2 weeks, and they're often very short, like 20 to 30 minutes tops. A lot of them were talking map-specific stuff and compositional-specific stuff. Some of them were giving big picture stuff, but a lot of the time, it was more about reminding and rehashing. There's not very much new information. And this is at the Overwatch League level. And trust me, there's a lot of feedback. There's a lot of things that pro players do wrong, and there's a lot of things we had to go over. But like you said, there wasn't as much teaching. It was more of, this is what we need from you. These are habits. A lot of communicational stuff. It's just rehashing and drilling. And yeah, you're probably at that point. You have to learn how to be self-motivated and self-coached.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Say like you work on movement for a while, or
Yeah.
like you work on like pulses or like whatever, something
Yeah.
specific, and then you like get that down, and then you move on to something else, and then when you like are working on like something new, like your whatever you were working on before just gets worse, like significantly, like you just lose it.
Like
Like,
completely all the way to baseline, like all the way back to baseline.
yeah.
Okay, think about it this way. If you were to train every muscle in your body, this is a bad analogy, but let me run with it. Train every muscle in your body once a week, okay? And you could consistently bicep curl 20 pounds, all right? Then you trained biceps 2 or 3 times a week for 2 or 3 weeks. Really focus on the biceps, and all of a sudden you can curl 25 pounds, okay? Then you go, nice. I've really worked on that. I've developed that skill. I'm going to go work on my shoulder press. I'm going to work on shoulder press and mostly shoulder press and not really do any curls at all. You did that for a couple of weeks and you were testing your bicep curls occasionally to see how you do. And you went all the way back to 20 pounds. That's still a win because you're not putting any emphasis on bicep curls. You're not even practicing it. If you're practicing your movement and then you're practicing your pulse bombs, you're not thinking about movement at all. You're not only baseline, you're giving it negative attention. You're taking attention that normally you would give to some attention and movement, right? So the fact that you go all the way back to baseline while putting literally zero thought into it, that's good. That's normal. That's normal. Because a normal game, you'd put a little bit of attention to movement, a little bit of attention into aiming, a little bit of attention into cooldown usage, right? So when you're focusing on something else and you're still like doing okay at movement, that's fine. That's fine. Like improvement is really slow, like really slow. It takes years, right? It takes months and years of consistent application. And so you're going to revisit your movement like again and again and again and again and again. That's just how it goes.
Okay.
That's just how it goes. But yeah, it's totally normal. Totally normal. Good question.
Thank you.
So what's the plan?
What is the plan? I'm trying to think if I have any other questions. I don't think, or not on the top of my head at least.
Okay. I want you to be self-aware on practicing how can I motivate myself on the mundane. That's the goal. That's the most important thing in this entire session is how can I motivate myself in the mundane? Can I make it easier to check the box? Just do a couple of games with full intensity. When I am intense, why? How can I make things easier for myself to practice? But we have to find a way to make the mundane. Because if you can't play Master 1 games with intensity, then you're never going to get to GM1. That's just the reality. Because even if you do improve, like the GM5 is going to be the new Master 1, or GM4 is going to be the new Master 1, and you're just not going to feel motivated at a certain hurdle. And that's kind of like what we have to change.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Delayed reinforcement. Anything worth doing doesn't come immediately. Why this code? Is this just random?
Well, I suck into one shots and like cast, and then I suck with ball. So I was hoping we could look at both at once.
Sure. Sure. I see you got poke on your team. That's funny.
I also don't know how to play this map at all. On any
Take an angle and shoot.
True.
That's it. This angle too far, so get close. No more specific questions with Tracer?
Tracer. I just need to work on macro, I think. Or at least that's what Tanuki coach told me, is that my macro just sucks.
What about your macro?
Just on Tracer. Like, I don't fulfill my role well,
What's your role?
I think. In this comp, I can...
No, none of that comp nonsense, right? Because that's ranked, right? Everything's random. So what's your role with Tracer? Period.
Just force resources, force cooldowns,
How do you do that?
short off angles.
Okay, that's all. So are you taking a short off angle right now?
Not really.
Okay. What would you do differently here?
Like the thing is, like I feel like any angle that I take, I'll just get forced out by cast, Widow, or Kiri, and I'll just eat a headshot and then get on
Is
my
that a
cooldowns.
is that a pro?
like,
Is it, sure. You're being a little too conceptual about this. Like, are you on a short off angle right now?
Right now, like once the Moira fades away, not really. I don't know.
Okay. So you force the Moira away. Now what? Are you on a short off angle right now?
I'm marking the Doom.
Kind of, yeah.
Or the
That's
Doom's
fine.
marking me, but
I mean, yeah, but like Tracer, you
The
should
Doom's
always be confident to take or demand fewer resources than what you're pressuring. That's always the rule, right? So, tank, DPS support, this is a win. The only problem here is while pursuing the Moira, you exposed yourself to something behind you. So, optimally here, if we're talking about the micro, what should you do when you hear this?
just fuck off.
Yeah.
Like to the left or right,
Yeah.
recall.
Just hold the angle, fight this Doom. You can't reach this here. You need to focus on dealing with this here. So you're going to take an angle. Whatever's on that angle, I want you to fight that, please. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you end up pulling this out, so it's okay. But this is a win. You just got slammed like a bozo. Right? That's it. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Short off angle. Keep shooting. You get what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah.
And then from here, how do we close the distance? Well, let's find out. Probably not. Take the duel with the Widow. Why? Very important reason why. Don't say because I have to kill Widowmaker. No. Why?
She's isolated right now.
That's true. That's true. But more than that, you ready for this? What got your recall forced when you engaged on the Moira? What happened? Do you
The
remember?
Doom flanked me?
The Doom flanked you. Are you getting flanked right now?
No. Well, right now the Widow.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
This is the problem. You're getting pincered. You're getting sandwiched. The rule with Tracer is never sandwich yourself, ever. Zero excuse. So when you see this here, it's not just about dealing with the isolated target. It's about making sure that when I go, I don't get shot from the back. If you wanted to avoid the Widow, you would have to do something like this here. So that way the Widow doesn't sandwich you. But honestly, even that is rough. Goodbye. You're dead. You should have been dead. 7 times you should have been dead. This is better. Now we're not being sandwiched. That's annoying. Too far. Don't even bother. And you just got Venommined. That's it. So
I did not think there was a world where she was in there.
yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't either. And that is a really good shot. But like, yeah, you tripped the Venomine. So all I'm seeing here is you got sandwiched twice. Your initial rollout was fine. Your target priority on Moira was fine. You failed to respond to Doom, got sandwiched, got your recall force. That led to kind of a messy resource trade on Doomfist so that you didn't win that fight as much as you would have liked. Then you isolate Widow and decide to pincer yourself anyway. So because of that, even though you don't die, you still don't get a lot of resources distracted because you're too nervous thinking about the Widow to actually shoot the Moira Curie in the back, right? So when you were here, you just didn't really do much because you're too scared of the Widow, and you should have been. You needed to deal with the Widow first. Then from there, mechanical errors, died of Venomine, and so on. That's it. The game becomes infinitely simpler when you simplify your responsibilities and just comes down to how good am I going to be at executing those responsibilities. That's it. It's not complicated. You don't need to think about dealing with Widow or a target priority or no. Short off angle, shoot. That's it. And then from there, the rest is just mechanics. Go ahead.
Can you like walk me through that again? Because what I was thinking like at the time is that my engage timing was just terrible, and like I was struggling that much because I wasn't going when our ball was going, so the resources weren't a split.
Is your ball going?
Ball's going right now, yeah.
So check one. 1 for 1. Nice job. Is your team fighting right now?
Yes.
Obviously, and even regardless, that he's fighting you, so yeah, we're good. 2 for 2. 2 for 2, 2 for 2. Now, we hate the sandwich here, but is your team fighting right now?
No. Or I don't know where my ball is.
Actually looks okay to me. Look at ball. Look at Genji.
True.
Right? So, ball is in and out, right? Like, that guy's just always in and out. As long as he's in the area, it's good enough. So, 3 for 3.
Yeah.
This is fine, because you can often enable your ball, right? Like, it just as much. Like, that's fine. This is fine. Because, like, you obviously, it's poor resource usage here from you in terms of, like, the pincer. But actually, you allow your ball to actually go for a cycle without getting hindered. So that's 3 for 3.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna
then...
say, like, I think that's why I struggle with, like, Doom and Ball so much. Is, like, it's hard to tell when they're, like, actually engaged or not.
Yes, because you don't need a
really
black and white engage for those two.
Yeah.
Any sort, like them being in and out generally means that there will be times when you get focused, yes, but they'll be back in much faster than, say, a Winston. So as long as they're in the area, that's good enough. So 3 for 3. Is your ball engaged right now? Yes. 4 for 4. So your engagement timing was indeed fine. Not awful at all. Not even close. Good job. The reason I'm doing this is I'm not trying to make you feel like you're a better player than you actually are. You messed up, okay? GG's. But it doesn't have to be complicated. My tank was in the vicinity. That's good enough. I was in a short off angle. That's good enough. The reason why that's important is I don't want you to distract you from the more important issues. Okay?
Yeah, I understand.
Is your timing good here?
I don't even know where my team is.
Let's give a little bit of context, so because this is what you would have seen. You see
This
ball.
looks horrible.
You see Genji. It's okay to me. Because what did you just saw? I saw Genji shurikens. You know, where's ball right now?
I don't know where the ball is. I didn't see him.
Oh, you didn't see him? Okay, so I don't know if you saw him, but he was, as you were walking up, he's right at the bottom of your screen right here. You see?
Oh, yeah. I think I did know that at the time.
Yeah, so this is fine. You know he's there. You're staging. You're setting up. And there we go. We're cooking.
Or they're down.
This is fine.
DPS?
They're in spawn. This is
they're
fine.
down 3. Okay,
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Good. Yeah, good stuff. No questions. Just good stuff. It's just dumb. Don't greet the recall. Just don't greet the recall. You got shot. Frick. Recall. Back to here. Whatever. Don't greet the recall. You'll have it by the time the fight starts. Go. Ball's in. Set up your angle. This is a poor angle. Why?
They're miles away.
That's it. Not that deep. Too far away. Will we get there on an angle? Sure. Still too far away. Still too far away. Now everything's far away from us, and now we just fight the Doom. Yeah, it's fine. This is fine. Missed the pulse. So you started a fight 30 meters too far. Maintain that distance for 10, 12 seconds, and then miss the pulse bomb after these are coalescence. GG's.
So where do I stage that?
Well, you tell me. You said, oh, I don't know how to play this map. No excuse. What do you do? Did you know where the fight was going to happen as it was happening is the question.
Not right now.
Okay, then that's your mistake. Look at the top middle of your screen. What do you see?
The round cart.
Okay, so now you know where to stage, yeah?
Like I could stage like the high ground to the right of me, like up the stairs.
That's it. Congrats. First try. Easy for you, really. So the question is why didn't you? Do you remember? I mean, I don't know how recent this game was.
It was earlier today.
All right.
I think, I don't know. I just saw my ball and Genji fighting, so I figured there was something going on over there.
Sure. Sure. Do you need to contribute to what your ball and Genji are engaged on?
If they're on something now,
Okay.
I'd be better off just forcing resources somewhere else.
That's correct. That's correct. Now, the answer is you could combo with them, but the question with Tracer is always a question of convenience. And the reality is you can see through walls, and you can also see payload. So when I see ball Genji on something here, I see where ball is. How on earth are you supposed to get there with any reasonable time frame?
Yeah.
So it's not your responsibility. So what you do is you go, well, to the right is 25 meters closer, so I'm going to go do something on the right and hope my ball can handle it. And if my ball can't handle it, then somebody will be naked on cart that I can handle. And that's it. Just do your job. Your job is not to follow up in ball dives. Your job is simply to apply pressure when the ball is applying pressure. And the ball is applying pressure, so you should be applying pressure on the most convenient and consistent and close angle possible. And that's it. And all it took me is to ask you, where could you apply pressure? You're like, on high ground, and that's it. Congratulations. That's what Rocket would do. I promise you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I want this to be a simplifying review for you. This game doesn't have to be complicated. It's not easy, right? To do all these things is not easy. But it's in hindsight, like we said earlier, it shouldn't be a difficult thing for you to do. So, for example, right now your ball is in. What's the most convenient angle available to you right now? Because this is too far.
Right side small.
Right side small. So you're going to go here? Or here? Or are you talking about in here?
Room I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I think even getting there with one blink might be kind of hairy. So honestly, I wouldn't mind you dropping and shooting here to start. But that's it. Are you following up of ball dive by doing this? Yes, you are. You're not following up of it here, but you are following up off of it. You're timing pressure. That's it. So if you reach here to go for a target, it's going to be disappointing. This is good. This is good.
I get gapped by a turret.
I mean, yeah. Happens to the best of us. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Where should you rotate to? Because this is too far. Why? Why is small better than where you're at right now?
Gets a better angle. It like I don't know. It just feels better.
Closer.
I can't articulate it.
It's closer. It's closer.
Yeah.
Measure the meterage between the ball and the Moira and you and the Moira. You understand?
Yeah.
That's it. Now, you also said deeper angle, and that is correct. That is a little bit more inconvenient for them to look at this and look at this versus this. This feels way worse, right? But yeah, it's the biggest thing is this is just too far. Yep, there you go. This is also too far, so then you have a choice now. What should you do?
I could either like wrap through the like right side window, or I could just like go in with the ball now.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Go with your gut.
Either could work.
I think so too.
I assume what I went for here is just going immediately in, because I think a lot of risk is already forced out. I think it's our turn, especially with Rally being popped.
You do neither. You do neither. You know that?
Yeah.
You hover, you hesitate, you hover. This is a blink, like all the way to here. Go for a full clip, maybe recall if you need to, right? So you kind of hover and you don't wrap. So because you don't wrap, you don't get a pressure of here. Just need to go. Either one would have been fine. Where's your angle? Right now. You got 2 blinks. Where do you
go? I could play like, I don't know. I feel like it's very like out in the open either way.
Sure. You got 2 blinks though. Come on. Where's the next blink go?
I go to the left.
Yeah, you got it. Nail it. Here, get to the cover. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Kind of. You kind of did it there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is easy for you, really. Good stuff. Good fight. A little bit slow in the setup on both your initial rotation and then that rotation right there. But good fight. Nice job. Too far. Way too far. Stop screwing around. Stop screwing around. Where is this fight going to happen? You tell me. Look at the robot. Where's it going to happen?
Definitely before we get first checkpoint.
So what's gonna happen? Where should you be approximately? Like, where is the fight going to be? Where is an angle that you can contribute on?
Um,
It's awkward, isn't it? Right? So tell me
yeah.
what do the best that you can.
Or like, I don't know. I would assume just like like my left side mega.
Sure. You could hang. You could lurk around here and listen. See if anybody
Yeah.
pushes up from this angle. If they don't, they cheat right to here. Then you can walk forward and apply pressure from here. If they flip the map, then you can walk out and take apply pressure from here. But you got to
It's
stop
just
thinking
like,
about the next meal. You got to start thinking about the next setup, right? Like, you stop pursuing damage here, right?
mhm.
Go ahead. You were saying something. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's just like it's hard to stage anywhere into like cast at all. I feel like I can just get poked out before I could ever do anything.
Because this is how you're staging.
Well, yeah.
You know, you're right. In theory, on a map like this, especially, right? This is a big map. Let's not lie. Right, so that's both an upside and a downside for Tracer. Upside means there's a lot of space for you to flank, but downside is that a lot of those flanks are more open. That's true. That's true. But stop coming up with excuses when the excuse is that you just can't afford, you just can't make yourself do nothing or think about your setup. You just have to shoot at this range.
Yeah.
That's all. You're right, but you're also wrong. Right? That's as simple as. Simple as. If you're staging here, this Cassidy has to make a choice. For the Cassidy to contribute to the team fight, which will be happening here, what are the two spots this Cassidy can play?
Hey, look at me or look at the team fight.
What is it?
Or what are you trying to say?
So as in, if the fight
You could either
happens
like
here,
focus me or focus like the actual fight.
that's correct. And what are the
Yeah.
spots that he can do so? From like, where do you think this Cassidy could go? Give me two spots.
You shouldn't be going where he's currently going because his team's not there. I would assume he would go to the window.
So you're going to go to the window. Can you contest him when he's on window?
No.
You sure
Or,
can.
yeah, I can. Yeah,
It's
but not
easy to
right now
close.
'cause I'm
It's
half,
easy, but
yeah,
right
I
not,
can.
but not right now. But it is easy to close the distance on him here. The other option is him to swing wide and kind of go cheeky angle here, which, like you kind of said, is not that good, and that's true. But you know what's great about this position? Ready for this? I'm gonna blow your mind. Look how close this is. Do you understand?
Hmm.
So this is kind of what we talked about. Like, it's hard to stage on a Cassidy. Well, that's not true. Like right now, you should have been here sooner. But are you getting poked out?
No.
No, because you're actually staging. Ah, you're chicken. Take it. Take it.
I got nervous.
Would Rocket run from this?
No.
Nah, Rocket would not run from this. You're like, well, I'm not Rocket. Well, if you want to be Rocket, you got to train like Rocket. That's Rocket starts right now. Rocket looks at this and says, I got 3 blinks, got a recall, got a short off angle, the fight's happening. If I'm scared to take this fight, I can't call myself a Tracer player. That's it. Now you got to work on your movement. You got to be smart. You got to be like, do I want to peek this here and then see if I can bait a shot, maybe blink through this way and then blink out here and then recall back to the angle, hold my blink. You know, we need to be strategic about it, right? You don't just turn your brain off and throw yourself on the keyboard, but you can't run away. Because this is value, right? It's risk, but it's value. What is this?
Air.
Air, right? No value, no space. And ironically, still scared of Cassidy. And now, you're all of a sudden, it's crazy. The Cassidy starts poking you out again. Crazy how that works. And now you're getting pincered, but now you don't have the resources to even take the duel anymore.
It's just not.
But you see how it's all connected, right? We got freaking X Files over here. It's the Raz X Files, right? The Raz Files. Like you didn't stage. You staged late. You had a good duel, a 2v1, yeah, but a good duel, a good distraction opportunity, short off angle, full resources, good on you. Really nice recognition from you. And he ran away and then ended up running from the same thing that you ran away from because you just let him take for free, get pincered, and then just panic. I could feel the panic, right? Like you could see the panic really starts to set in here because you're like, frick, I'm getting pincered. I just got to go. And then obviously you live with the resources. You live with the other resources, I say. You live with the consequences. I mean, ironically, this is like the first decent thing that you've done, but you obviously entered this fight without a recall, down 2 blinks. It's a disaster. Do you see how this is not complex? So what are you seeing so far? What needs to be cleaned up?
Like my staging and
Okay.
like just being willing to like take
Yes.
duels.
Right. The staging doesn't necessarily mean you have to be flanking, okay? The staging might be, I just want to take this short angle and just maximize my uptime. I'm okay with that, but I want you to tell me why you took the position, and not just because I wasn't thinking about anything. You could stage and shoot tank. Tracer doesn't care whether she's shooting tank or backline. You're just going to shoot from a short angle, and that might mean really, really high uptime, or it might mean really, really low uptime. Doesn't matter. You think about where do I want to be, and then you be there. And then when you're contested on that spot, fight. That's it. Fight. You have resources, you fight. You have recall, you fight. You have blinks, you fight. You don't go, I can't deal with Cassidy. No, yes, you can. You have to. Do it. Right? And if you fail while doing it, then do it again, do it better next time. And if you fail again, do it again, do it better next time. You know? Don't miss the free throw and then decide that you're going to take 2 steps closer to the basket. Just take it again. Yeah, keep going, right? Like, keep going. Like, this is a Masters 1 Cassidy. You wouldn't be beating GM 1 Cassidys. You might as well start right now. Right? Okay. Does this make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Torb Cassidy, Kiriko Moira. Every Tracer's dream. So many heroes that I can't kill. Where should you be? Are you on a short angle? No. Where should you be? Tough, isn't it? Really tough.
Yeah, I think I just rotated the wrong way. I shouldn't have walked out like left.
I agree. This is directly walking in. This is wide open. Probably rotate somewhere right. See what happens here. Apply pressure from here. Rotate from here. Right? That's it. There's still time to do that, by the way. It's okay. I mean, you just weren't in a good position. That's all. Too far being the key word. Why that was not a good position. Does it make sense? It wasn't just that it wasn't an angle. I mean, it kind of was an angle, right? You had 2 people on, but it was just too far away. Don't sandwich yourself. Shoot the Doomfist. You got me? Get him.
Yeah.
That's your job. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that resource trade. You're popping. And then you deepen the angle. Oh, this is textbook. This is brilliant.
This hurt me.
Oh, no. This about to be bad?
Eventually.
Strategically, how are you supposed to play this duel? How are you supposed to take
I
this?
can just like bait resources because I'm not gonna be able to kill anything here, so I could just force resources.
Well, what's the problem with this position here? It's a good rotation, but what's happening? Why does this feel so difficult?
I have no information.
No information, right? It's just a tiny little tunnel. So, what you should do? You got to be a chess player here. What do you do?
Leave, or I could just go like through the spawn room. I don't know. I think like I could just continue to like force resources there. I get at least 1 marking me, or I could just like go through the spawn room, get a different angle.
See, the problem is with what you're saying is you're saying at least 1 marking you, but if you're not really a threat, then why would anyone mark you? And if they do mark you, who has the advantage in the duel? And the answer is not you, right? So whenever you force resources, you're doing so because you're actually applying pressure. You're not really applying pressure here. This is a wind tunnel of agony for you, right? In a bronze Kiriko could hold mouse 1 and force your recall here, right? So fix your situation. What should you do? Let's just look around. Let's look around. Takes too long.
I just go through the
Takes
spawn
way
room,
too
right?
long. Takes too long. Takes too long. No.
I don't know what else like would be the play there.
How many blinks do you have?
I got 2.
Okay. What about when you have 3 blinks? What could you do here?
I could triple blink into the small room, like directly behind their Doom, but I have no information.
No information? So give me a safer play then with that triple blink.
I could go below the stairs. Like
You're good. 1, 2,
towards the bus.
3. This is the play.
Yeah.
Because you're ending in a safe spot on an angle with cover. So you're not going to get punished without your blinks. Correct? That's it.
That makes sense.
That's it. It's not an easy decision. So if you feel stupid, don't. It's just a hard situation. But it's important, right? There's always a solution for this character. Always. It's what makes this character OP, because it has essentially a limitless skill ceiling, not just in terms of the mechanics, but because I can't always say for Widow and Sojourn and Reaper players that there's always a good position, but I can for Tracer. It's the only character in the game that can always say there's a good position. Always. Are you smart enough to find it? So this is annoying. But that is not a reflection of your mechanics necessarily. It's a reflection of your staging or your ability to solve a problem. Okay? Now, I want to congratulate you, initially, though, on your marking here and then rotating deeper. That is always the play with Tracer. It's just not always easy to know what the next step is. And this is where I think you were challenged. So when you don't have a good angle, by the way, that should sound familiar. Do you remember when you messed up your rotation, you were here? What should you have done here? Let's revisit the situation. Can you picture it in your brain? You rolled out on the wrong side. You had 3 blinks. What do you do?
I don't remember.
Okay,
Or,
let's go back. Let's go back. I think, yeah, this is it. See, I'm a wizard, okay? What do you do? Let's just go through our options. Can you double blink in here safely?
no,
Okay, so can you triple blink behind them? No.
absolutely not. No.
What else?
Or I could just go into the right side small room.
Just go on the right side. You could go here.
Yeah.
Just here. 1, 2, walk. There you go. You'll have a blink now, and then you can make a choice. Okay, they're giving me attention. I blink across. I hop up here. I go from here. Or maybe I go under, or maybe I just chill and poke a little bit and wait for that second blink to take action. But you know what? All of that is better than what you're doing here because you're too far to actually do any lethal damage. You're tickling and applying DPS passive. No bueno. And then this is also what we're looking at here. Again, no bueno. Make sense? Find the solution to your setup. Find the solution to your setup. And once you're there, have confidence in yourself to be able to win 1v1s, even if you don't. Confidence in yourself. If it's not a 1v1, you live. But if it's a 1v1, you need to win. If you mess up, recall, try again. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I like this. I love this. No. That's okay. You started on the path here. You see that everybody's over here, right? So what's the next step from this position then?
Go into the left side small.
Go on the left side small. You sit here and you listen. You wait. Bam. Breakfast. You got me? What you did is you staged. And then instead of using the money that you invested into this positioning, you cashed out and chickened out, right? And the irony is that you actually didn't even get to the fight faster. You see this?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Air,
Dying.
right? Air, dying, right? Why? Because no angle, right? You had to use blinks to get close. You would have been here. You would have been 7 hours on backline. Full blinks. GG's. It's funny because I promise you that at least part of the reason why you didn't take that angle is because you're scared of Cassidy. Am I correct?
Yeah. And then that, me inting like that reinforced my fear.
Right. That's the thing. You've just reinforced your fear. It's kind of like I saw this like an animal analogy here where you know what it is? It's like a bad cat, right? Cats that are like grouchy, they really don't like hesitant humans, right? They get freaked out, right? And so what happens is people that are scared of cats, they like pet the cat really hesitantly and like twitchy. Cats don't like that, right? So the cat gets mad and swats them. Like, see, I knew it, right? So it's like, well, it's because of how you're approaching it. Stage, take the angle and shoot. When you take an angle, use the angle that you use. Like right now, don't second guess yourself and go back here, please. What should you do? Let's say that this fight is happening. Like obviously this fight's not happening. But what should you do if your team is here?
I could just keep poking the cast, or I could go through the bus onto the
You nailed it.
metro high ground.
You can go here, or
I
you
think
can
I could just
rotate
stay
through.
this angle.
I think
and,
so too.
Use a small.
I think so too. Now obviously that's kind of irrelevant here because your team isn't here. So the most important thing for you is just live for a second. Yeah, and then now we rotate in through, right? Like you're gonna have to take some risks here. I want an angle from you. There you go. See, now we're cooking. See, now I have full confidence that the only limiting factor here is gonna be mechanics. Because for once, you've actually put yourself in the right spot. That's okay. That's ironically the most useful thing you've done in a long time. Because let's see what you did. All right, you rotate it despite an awkward setup. Overload. You miss a pulse. Okay. Overload. Cassidy turns. Kiri turns. Torb's out of position. At the very least, you pulled a 1 for 1.2 resources, okay? You forced a little Kiri attention, a little Cass attention, and you got Torb's resources as well. And the best part about it is you're actually still in a position to shoot. This is good. Look at this. This is good. This is really good. I think here, my only critique is post-recall. As long as you have the angle, I would not be hesitant to walk forward and crouch and see what you can get through. And I wouldn't be blinking in, but I wouldn't necessarily be running either. You kind of get what I'm saying? This fight is still going. right? So if you could safely apply pressure, or honestly, screw it, even die, it's still worth it. This is good. Too far. Yep, better. Good. Next. Use car. Too far. Good. 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 Don't chase. Shoot the Doom. Good. I'm going fast because there's not a whole lot to say here besides good job. So, good job. Needed 2 blinks for that, yeah? Simply because too far, yeah? So too far, you need to chill, wait for your ball, and then blink and engage setup here. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not the mechanics there, because like equally skilled cast, equal skilled chaser, at that range cast always wins. So, yeah, good stuff. Okay, I want to look at one more fight. You got time for one more fight?
Yeah.
Screw it. Let's just finish the VOD. Let's speed run. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. I like the angle set up here. Let's walk a little bit. It's a little far away.
Oh, you know what? Like,
yeah, go for it.
I don't know what to do. Or like, so if I want to practice Tracer, I want to play on my main.
Yep.
You say like play 2 games. If I'm like having a super brain fog day, is there a point in playing the 2 games on my main if I'm just not going to be able to think? Because I feel like when I'm having a brain fog day on Tracer, I just walk and then I explode because I'm not like paying attention to something specific.
Depends on how bad of a day, to be honest with you. Way I like to look at it is when you talk about like, what's the value in practicing when you're having an off day? It's still good practice, right? Still good practice if you can give focus and give intent. If you can't, then don't. If you can, then do. My concern with saying that you shouldn't practice on brain fog days is that leaves it up to interpretation. And most players, no offense, kind of suck at recognizing when it's actually bad practice and when it's not. They'll be like, oh, I don't really feel like practicing today. So what will happen is you'll end up practicing on your main like 1 day out of the week, and then what does that change, right? Unless you physically have like a thyroid problem or you have sleep apnea or something like that, full brain fog days should not be happening on the daily, and you might be gaslighting yourself a little bit. So what I would say is you need to bite your down and you need to actually play the 2 games. And maybe 1 day or 2 days a week, you can be like, it's not worth practicing. But we need to up the percentage of days that you're playing. Okay? Mm-hmm. You need to up the percentage of days that you're playing. So on paper, you're right, but you got to choose your battles. If it's like, it's like saying, I woke up and my neck kind of hurts a little bit. I guess I'm not going to lift weights. But get over yourself, man. You got to train through that, right? Like, now, if you tore your ACL, right, or you slept 2 hours and your stomach is hurting, then yeah, maybe it's not a good day to train. But at some point, you have to be like, you can't feel 100% to practice. You should be practicing when you feel 80% or 75% too. Make sense?
Oh, and then one more thing.
Of course.
So, like, when I've like played with friends like casually.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to like differentiate that so I don't get like bad habits? Like, would having like a different hero
don't play Tracer
help?
Yeah, don't play Tracer. Yeah, don't play Tracer. Don't ever play Tracer in that situation if you can avoid it. Yep.
Okay.
100%. Good. Great question. Yep. Different account, different hero. I mean, you can have the same account if you want to. If you're like off rolling, right? It's totally fine. But yeah, you nailed it. Okay. I want you to tell me goals. In game and out of game. Start in game. Easy stuff. Tracer.
In game, just take better angles. Like, I'm constantly like too far away. I just have to stage better. I have to think about like what my job is, like going into the fight. And like especially where the fight is going on. I have to figure out where that is going to be. I feel like I just kind of wander until I see where the fight is. I mean, we didn't talk about it, but Jesus Christ, man, my pulses, I need to work on those. And like just getting more comfortable marking people that scare me, and like not just running away.
That's it. Because you're compromising your positioning significantly every single time you do that. Okay. What about out of game stuff?
Out of game stuff like long-term reward, like I forget the like description you use, but like the not getting reward in the short term, I have to be okay with that. And and just being like willing to practice something even if I'm not like feeling it or doing well, like just pushing through.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Little bit by little bit. I mean, that I want to encourage you that this is not going to be easy. You're not asking yourself to do an easy task. And I also want to encourage you that you've already accomplished something that 99.5% of Overwatch players will never achieve, which is reaching GM3. Okay. So congratulations. You're a great player. You want to be even better? It's going to ask even more. If you can't do it, there's nothing wrong with you. Just don't have the same level of motivation. There's a reason, like, why aren't you a bodybuilder? Well, I don't like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you if you don't like bodybuilding. I think what you need to do is you need to find ways to apply yourself to whatever that you do, not necessarily to be the best, but just to enjoy what you're doing and to be productive, right? And I think that this is a good opportunity for you. But if you fail because I don't enjoy the process, that's not failure. What failure is I really want to, but I lack the discipline. That's failure, and I don't want that to be you. But if you apply to yourself with discipline and you go, you know what? I'm not having fun doing this, then that's not failure. That's just Overwatch isn't meant for you, for pro.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be pro at something else. You'll be doing something that Rocket could only dream of. I mean, unironically, right? Like Rocket is not a freak of nature. He's just a freak of Overwatch nature. That's it.